Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of Insider with Outsiders, and today's guest is the Director of Partnerships for Outsiders. We've known him since January. His name is Darshan Rangnath. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We have a studio audience that's really enthusiastic tonight. I think they had too many fat tires.
They probably did.
So I know a bit about you. I don't know a whole lot, but we met on a winter hike in January. And you came because I think Brian O'Connor invited you, right?
Yeah, so a friend of Brian O'Connor's invited us through. And yeah, honestly, I was looking for something to get me active during the winter, and Outsiders came about, and that's where we met.
Yeah, it's true. And I think we didn't talk much during the activity at all. I think we spoke at the restaurant afterwards. Yeah. And we're just, talking, and you told me, yeah, I do partnerships. I'm like, well, we need help. Who do you do partnerships for? I did partnerships for Strava. Like, oh my God. We lived on Strava last summer on our bike rides because that's all we did. We rode 1,500 miles, and the only reason I know that is because of Strava. Yeah. So we rode 1,500 miles throughout the whole summer season. And anyway, you said you worked for Strava, and I thought you'd be a great addition. And you've actually been an amazing addition. So thank you for joining the fam.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, D. Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, actually greater area of Los Angeles called La Mirada. It's a little city.
Where is it? Where is it located?
Yeah, it's on the border. It's in LA County, but it's on the border of Orange County and LA County. So it's,
Orange County.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Persians in Orange County.
There are.
My Persian people in Orange County. Shout out to you guys. Actually, what's also interesting is, and we've spoken about this, we're working on hopefully trying to expand Outsiders to LA. And there's a few variables, and one of them is working with Volvo on the West Coast. And their headquarters happen to be in Orange County as well.
Yep.
So hopefully, I know you're gonna play a big role in helping me launch that as well. So thank you. What was it like growing up in LA, in the West Coast?
Oh man, that's a little bit of a loaded question.
Well, let's start with this. Where's your family from originally?
Yeah, my family's from India. My dad immigrated here for dental school back in like '67, and my parents met when my dad was on a 10-day trip to India, and arranged marriage, but it wasn't, it was one of those where the parents were like, hey, he's cool, and her parents were like, oh, they were like, yeah, they were.
Thank God it doesn't exist right now for me, right? My family or this culture.
Exactly.
Because if I trusted my parents, I'm like, oh, she's cool. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
But I'm glad it worked out for him.
Yeah.
And well, for your mom too, obviously.
Yeah. Now 37 years later, love and marriage. They have two beautiful kids. I'm one of them. It's working out pretty well.
You have a sibling?
I do. I have a younger sister.
Okay. What does she do?
She's an accountant at Minted.
At what?
Minted. They make greeting cards and a whole bunch of stuff, like for weddings and birthdays and all that.
So I know, similarly to Persian culture, in Indian culture, if you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you're a disappointment to the family.
Bro, that's why I'm still single.
So I guess your parents moved back to LA, or your dad brought your mom to California.
Yeah.
And then you were born, and you had your family. So what did you do when you were a kid growing up in LA, West Coast?
Yeah. So I grew up in a city that was even though it was in LA, it was very non-diverse.
So you lived in a white neighborhood?
A very white neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean,
it was
because you're obviously not white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was honestly, like it made me grow up very quickly.
Explain why. Obviously, it sounds very negative. So
let's
talk about it.
It was there was a lot of complications, like when an Indian family that people don't know they don't even know what Indian is or India is.
Yeah.
Like going to school, people mispronouncing my name.
We spoke about that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like since from kindergarten through like 8th grade, I actually hated my name because everyone called me Darshan. Darshan.
Why?
Because my parents pronounce it Darshan, and then they were like, "Oh, it's Darshan," and they just went with it.
Well, it's funny. We recently had the camping weekend, and the reason why I bring this up is because people pronounce your name in many different ways. Yeah. I personally liked Pat's way of pronouncing your name. Yo, Darshan. He brought a little vibe to your name. I mean, I like your name. Darshan is dope. Like, that's a great name. But, I can see why, as a child, it wasn't, you want to fit in. Yeah. And when you're in a place where everyone's name is probably like Michael, David, and
Alex,
John. Yeah. It was tough. People called you Darshan, but I'm sure they made fun of your name as well.
Man, Darshan the Martian. Man, there's so many. So many. Yeah. So, but then, I think it was the first day of high school. I went to a different high school, like outside of my district. And the math teacher, I think like geometry or whatever, she goes through roll call and she's like, Darshan. And I'm like, oh, rebrand. Yeah. Let's go.
Why am I getting flashbacks of Life of Pi? Remember when he said, his name is Piscine, which means pool in French, but they're calling him piss, whatever it is. Anyway. That's awesome. You rebranded already. Like in high school, you were thinking about brand stuff.
That's
Look
what
at that.
we do. Yeah.
Okay, so how did high school go? It seemed like you got a good start with high school. There's a fly in here, Bams.
No, high school was great. With the rebrand and figuring out who I was, and and so when I was very, very young, I became a DJ. Like really? At a very young age.
Let's cheers to that rebrand real quick. Let's pop this beer open.
Cheers, bud.
I love the way that sounds, Bams. Cheers to you. Cheers to buddy. Darshan.
Thanks, dude.
Darshan, goodbye. So you became a DJ when?
When I was very, very young.
And your parents supported that, got you the equipment and so on? I find that hard to believe because I know the Western Asian culture a bit, and they're probably like, no, just take this chemistry set.
So, my parents knew I liked music. Yeah. And then they got me into piano when I was very young, 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And I hated the piano. Absolutely hated it. Now I kind of regret it, of not learning the piano, or going forward with it. But when I was 11, my parents, they were like, okay, no more piano. We'll let you go with that.
But how long were you forced to do the piano?
2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I still know how to play some stuff, but it's not very good. But for my 11th birthday, they gave me 2 turntables and a mixer.
Oh, there 2 turntables and a microphone. Okay.
But where's the mixer? Yeah, right. But we had to and it was from Radio Shack. I don't know. Is there Radio Shack on the East Coast?
Yeah, there was. I think they're out of business now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So there were 2 turntables and a mixer because they knew my dad is a dentist and he has a big Indian dental community in LA, and they would have parties every weekend, and they would always bring out an Indian DJ. Mm-hmm. And the DJs there at that time were they were just playing American music and all that.
What were you playing?
Well, then I teamed up with a guy that was much older than me. A few years older than me.
How old were you at the time?
I was 11.
Okay. At 11 years old, he's teaming up.
Yeah, teaming up. But he was 16 and he had his mom's Toyota van. The old van that just had Toyota on front.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a Previa. It was before that.
Yeah.
And we just rolled the gigs, and in turn, we started building this crew of Indian DJs that were able to listen to the beat, match the beat, and then at the same time mix in Indian music. And so in turn, on the West Coast, that was not there. It was out here, out in New York, but it wasn't out there yet.
So you were you were the originator prior to Hova and Punjabi
MC.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me take a quick step back. So when I was 11, the homie he took me under his wing, and I think one of our first conversations was bro, I told him, or I asked him, I was like, bro, you have to teach me how to scratch. And he's like, okay, that is not gonna happen, because that will be what you'll learn over the course, you know, like of you becoming a DJ. But he's like, but I'm gonna take you through the ringer. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And legit, like for the first couple years of my DJing experience, like I was helping him like take crates upstairs and, you know, all that, setting up the turntables and all that, like taping up wires. And like, it was legit Mr. Miyagi stuff, because like now, like if I go to an event and I see like wires like hanging out, just like because people can trip over them and stuff, and I'm like, dude, okay, this is good. We got to fix this.
Darshan is like the most helpful person, almost to a point where like, okay, on the camping weekend, you helped me put all the brand partnerships together. It was amazing. You know, that was your responsibility, right? But then you're like all night getting people beers, getting people drinks. I'm like, dude, stop it. But you can't help it. You're such a helper and accommodator. And I understand that's part of your personality. So I couldn't really get you to stop. But I wanted to like shake you, like, yo, sit down and chill, like get to know everybody. Like you don't have to do this. But it's amazing that you're so helpful, so giving. It's just a beautiful personality trait, man.
No, it was, that's what I've grown up with, right? My parents love entertaining. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've seen them my entire life, of like entertaining. They're never sitting down. They're always just like getting people drinks, getting people food and all that. So just get that from them, I guess. And it's awesome. But the camping weekend was my element. You know what I mean?
I saw you.
Yeah.
You were thriving. Like, there goes that man with that glow. Bring someone else a beer.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yo, what is it? End of September, early October.
That's October 1st to the 3rd.
October 1st to the 3rd.
But we don't know when this is going to air, so we're going to chill with that. Okay. We'll say stay tuned for our weekend trips.
Stay tuned.
Our overnight trips, I should say.
Yeah.
Maybe even international. I had a phone call today about some cool stuff. So
nice. Let's go.
So you were DJing through high school.
Through high school, through college.
Where did you go to college?
Went to Long Beach State in California.
Long Beach State. Okay. Yeah. Isn't that where Snoop's from?
Snoop is from. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Snoop D-O-double-G. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Exactly. And while I was a DJ, like my parents liked that I was like making money and like doing my own thing and all that, but my mom hated that like I would come home late, like, you know, 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I would have class in the next day and all that. So she kept pushing me. And she was like, you cannot do this for the rest of your life. And I'm like, dude, I can make something happen with this. And we were making something happen.
Bro, what kind of places, what kind of parties or venues or events were you DJing in college?
So like at that time, like, so in high school, we were still able to get into clubs and stuff, but we weren't able to drink, right? Like we were just able to like get behind the booth.
And what clubs? Clubs in LA or clubs in Orange County?
So it was both. It was both. So like we did both, but then at the same time, we came to find out that it wasn't as lucrative as doing family parties, like sweet 16s, weddings, anniversary parties. Yeah. Like we were making so much more money that way. So we were like, you know what? We might as well put that on the side, put the clubbing on the side, and do that once in a while. Like if our friends want free drinks, let's come through.
Right.
But like if we wanted to make money for ourselves, we would do like these family parties.
So what'd you study at Long Beach State?
Yeah. I was a business economics major, and I doubled in finance.
So would you want to double majored? Uh-huh. All right, genius. What'd you want to do when you were like? What was your dream job growing up, and then what was your dream job, or what did you think you were going to do while you were in college?
Bro, I was gonna take this to the moon.
What, DJing?
Yeah, DJing. Yeah, because so we went from DJing, and then like in college, people would reach out to us being like, hey, do you know a florist? Do you know someone that can do table linens? Do you know someone that can do that? So we went from DJing only, then we converted into like event planning. Mm-hmm. But legit, like the only reason I wanted to become an event planner was to talk in my sleeve. Be like, okay, to talk in my sleeve, like, all right. Where's the groom? Is the groom coming?
You're such a cornball. Seriously. I mean, just all you wanted to do. No wonder you joined Outsiders. He just wants the earpiece. Yeah. Like, we're coming up on.
I told Sharon that.
Exactly. Jeez. All right. Yeah. So, nerd status. You want to talk?
You know,
talking to sleeve.
Everyone thought I was cool with me talking in my
Listen,
sleeve.
whether you talk in your sleeve or not, I still think you're cool.
Thanks, you.
So what happened with that business?
No, so like so the older guy that like took me under his wing, whenever he had some type of like something happened in his life where like he got married, he had a kid or something, like all of our checks would bounce.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, I either have to like pivot to another company or just do something completely different. And I needed to do something completely different.
Well, it was funny. Right on time, there's thunder and lightning going on. And right as he said, you know, the checks were bouncing. Talk about eerie. Okay,
Yeah.
so you obviously left working with him, and what did you do from there?
Yeah, so then I got into finance because of the housing boom. So I was a finance bro for 3 years.
And this is what, 2004, 5?
So this was like at the end of the housing boom. So this was like 2006 to 2009.
Well, 2008 was when it crashed.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
we were
you
still
got
in
into
finance.
this, and you were making good money, and then it crashed, and you're still doing all right when it crashed?
I was when it crashed, I was doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but
This
then
is still in the West Coast.
I was still on the West Coast, right?
So wait, what did you do from there? Because you're obviously somewhat of a creative now. You're in branding.
Yeah.
You're no longer doing mortgage lending.
Yeah.
So what happened?
It was
And what brought you to New York?
yeah. So I so we all got laid off. The entire team got laid off. We're working for this huge bank out of Japan, and like the whole team got laid off. And then in turn, I legit just took a year off. I was just like, I got to reassess.
What did you do during that year off?
I traveled a ton. Like I traveled right after college.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go after college? Where'd you go during that year off?
After college, I went through Europe. I just like backpacked.
Yeah.
Like no plan, just took off.
That's the best plan.
Yeah, man. It was amazing. So the day I got laid off from the bank, the entire team's freaking out because they just bought houses. They just bought these beautiful cars. I was chilling because I was like, I had this apartment in like West LA, but it was totally fine. You know, I could like, get rid of my apartment. So I just booked a trip to Australia. I just took off.
Wow.
Yeah, and I hung out. Like, I have some cousins out there, so I just hung out with them, you know, for a couple months and just chilled. Then I came back for a bit, started looking for a job, couldn't really find anything that I liked. Then I went out, took off to Peru, chilled there for a bit. And then also in college, like along with the business, I also started a couple nonprofits.
What were they?
So one is called Economics on the Move. We take inner city youth on corporate trips.
Okay.
Corporate trips. So we take them to, like, for example, Toyota used to be based in LA. We would take them to LA and be like, hey, this is what you're learning in school, and this is how it's going to be applied in the future. And that's what we would do.
That's amazing, because I know they don't teach the right stuff to prepare people for real life and finance and economics.
Exactly.
There's actually an organization that I worked with. They actually raffled off an Outsiders adventure pass for them. It's called WISE, but it teaches people about balancing checkbooks, their credit, all kinds of financial stuff that is stuff that everyone in everyday life needs.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they don't teach it in school.
Seriously. You got to take it from the root, right? You got to, like, teach them that stuff, and then they'll be able to, like, flourish. So
Exactly. So you said there's that charity or whatever.
yeah.
What else did you start?
So we started a second organization. So the first charity was with a professor that I was like homies with in college, and he had this idea, and I was like, yeah, I'm 100% down to like help you out, like build this up. And the second charity is called the Brown Bag Bunch. It's just, you know, we just it's completely grassroots. We just provide brown bag lunches and hot meals to people once a quarter. So
Who do you provide it to?
So it's predominantly in LA.
Like Skid Row type of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so we go to Skid Row, but we also go to like a whole bunch of like children's homeless shelters in the Orange County, LA area, because they also need help, right? Because like the bigger homeless institutions in LA, they don't get a lot of funding, but they just get a lot of like food that they can like store. But these kids, like, when's the last time this kid had a peanut butter jelly sandwich, right? Like, that's why we wanted to, like, make it, like, focused on children.
When we launch Asgari's LA, why don't we work with Brown Bag
Bunch? Yeah.
Brown Bag Bunch. That'd be great, because that sounds like a great cause. And, you know, if we can help them get, like, a kid's meal instead of like a canned food, that'd be great.
Exactly.
Something to note down. We'll talk about that afterwards. Was there any other organization you started?
So then
not that that's not enough. That's great. But like, you're on a streak now.
Yeah. It's been in the back of my mind in regards to starting other things. Like, one of my life goals is to open up a hostel and cafe that's donation based. There's John Bon Jovi has a restaurant in Jersey. He has, I think, a couple of restaurants in Jersey called, I think, the Soul Kitchen or J&B Soul Kitchen.
Okay.
And that's donation based as well. And I would love to take that and like bring it into like bigger cities like New York, Chicago, LA, and like have people that, like, you know, they may not be able to afford the hotels and all that, but they want to come to New York.
Yeah.
And have the cafe catered to the stuff that's like popular in New York.
What's funny is that we do the same, trying to do the same thing with Outsiders, make it affordable. And somebody reached out to me in our event tomorrow. I won't talk about what we're doing tomorrow, because this will air. Who knows when it'll air? But I don't want to put the person on blast. But they reached out saying that they're having tough financial times, but they'd love to attend, single mother, so on, from some of the friends. Yeah. So, you know, we're going to make a point of being able to offer tickets on occasion when we can afford it for free to people with, you know, financial hardships.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, places to eat, activities to do, get them outside. Because who probably needs it the most? But somebody's struggling, having a hard time. Get them outside and active and social in an environment where, you know, it's judgment free. Exactly. So you come back and you start all these amazing organizations, and bless you for doing that. Yeah, obviously still not working. What happens there? I mean, you're still in LA. What are you doing?
Yeah. So this might sound materialistic of me, but I'm on Facebook one day and I see one of my really close friends from college. She's posting these pictures of her at like a movie premiere and of her doing like random stuff throughout the LA area, and I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. And I start like talking to her, and I'm like, and I ask her like what she does. She ends up being in media planning and buying, which is like when you buy advertising.
Yep.
And you activate it, and yes, that part sounds very materialistic, right? Like in regards to like, I want to do all those things that she did, right?
How is that materialistic?
Because like
because you're trying to make a profit?
No. It was more like just having the experience of like doing those type of things. Because like in the media, like the advertising space, there's a lot of like, it's a gray area.
It sounds fun. I mean, doesn't mean just because you're having fun and doing that, like, you shouldn't feel any shame for it.
Yeah, I get that. I appreciate you, bro.
No, of course. Yeah, there's no shame in that, man.
Yeah. So I ended up becoming a media planner, and I did that for about 10 years.
10 years in the West Coast?
So I did that for a year and a half in New York, in LA, and then I came here to work on Chase, the bank. About 10 years ago. Okay. And then with all jobs that like take a lot out of you.
Well, really quickly, the job is what brought you to New York? Yeah. I'm guessing you probably wanted to come to New York as well, or?
Yeah.
Were you indifferent?
Well, so we're getting really deep into it.
That's the point of this, man. I'm trying to get to know you.
So I was engaged 10 years ago.
You were engaged?
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
I was engaged 10 years ago, and she was living in San Francisco. I was living in LA, and I just really needed to like leave LA before we got married, just to experience something else. Yep. And simultaneously, like a headhunter reached out to me, and she asked me if I wanted to move to DC, Boston, Chicago, or New York, and I was like, yes.
That seems like a very easy answer.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and New York, I had one interview with this one company, and it bit, and they brought me out here.
That was Chase?
Oh, that was the agency that handled Chase.
Understood.
Yeah. Yeah, and it all worked out. Yeah, but like, okay, then things happened, you know, like we ended up breaking up, but living a great life. She's living a great life too. So like, we're good.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So from Chase, did you go directly to Strava from there?
No. So I spent a lot of time, working at different agencies, like getting to know like what was happening in the space. I went from like working on Chase to working at working on Reckitt Benckiser, which is like a really big, very similar to like a Johnson & Johnson type of brand. Then I actually worked at Johnson & Johnson for a bit. And then after some time, like actually, I met someone that worked at Strava during an event, and I just asked her if she needed help with like the stuff that she was doing here.
Of course you did. Of course you did. I mean, again, I think all people that ask for help, or if they can help, is great, and it's kind of you, but it also opens doors for you.
Yeah, and then I
asked for help, and look, you're here.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you appeared, the man of my dreams. There you go.
But yeah, like, and we built this relationship. I ended up meeting a team, and then everything just kind of like fell into place.
And now, sorry, Bams is giving me a little direction over there. Now, you work for yourself, and that's impressive as hell. Like, how long have you worked for yourself, and what motivated you to do that? Because that's a scary leap. Like, you're getting a paycheck, somewhat comfortable. How did you end up leaving Strava? Because that was your last full-time job, right?
So that was actually my last full-time job. Things just happened at Strava where they had a shift in direction, and they ended up letting go of a lot of people.
Understood. Okay.
And I was one of them. But you know what? At the same time, like I was able to reassess and figure it out.
It's a blessing sometimes. I mean, look, you're working for yourself now.
Exactly.
And how much more fulfilling is that for you?
Exactly.
You seem to have the entrepreneurial spirit, right? And you love to be able to help. And I feel like with your personality traits and loving to help, now you don't just have to be helping one company. You can help all these brands that you believe in.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy you believe in Outsiders. And I've seen your passion for it, and I couldn't ask for a better person to work with, man.
Appreciate you. Like honestly, like Outsiders, the day before that first trip, that winter hike, I took an Epsom salt bath. It was just like, okay, I just gotta get ready. I don't know how intense this is gonna be, but like the vibe of everyone's level, everyone being comfortable with where they're at. They don't have to be these ultra marathoners. They don't have to be. They had just gone on like a couple hikes in their entire life, and they could have done it. That's what I appreciate about Outsiders.
And what was great was that was the first time Tara, who's a regular with the Outsiders, joined as well, and she has not I think she missed one event, and she had to miss that one, but she's been at everything, and she's so active and such a supporter. And we recently found out she works for Body Armor, which is great, and hopefully we can work out something with them. But I mean, it was like the second event of the new year, and 2021 really started off with a great bang and great additions to the family. Yeah. Let's get into some other questions. But how do you feel about working for yourself now?
It's there's the great days and there's the bad days, right? Like in regards to like the hustle and like figuring out like I still have the Sunday scaries sometimes, of like figuring out like what I got to do for all my clients and making sure they're happy. But at the same time, I love it. Like it's on my time, it's on my schedule. Like I don't have to I'm not like clocking in. Right. It's great, and I love every moment. I'm glad, because that's one of the things in life for me that I ask a lot of our interviewees, what does success mean to you? And for me, being an entrepreneur and being able to stay an entrepreneur and a happy entrepreneur, there's a difference. You can be an entrepreneur and be miserable, but a happy entrepreneur is like a goal for me. And so far, so good, especially with Outsiders. I mean, I wasn't so happy towards the tail few years of working in nightlife and events and concerts, but now I feel like I'm back on my path, and and that feels good. We're happy you're here. Much happier. What are your goals and dreams? Oof. Well, one of my goals is to open that hostel and cafe. Okay. Like that's one of my goals. But like, honestly, like just trying to build a family, doing that thing.
He's single, ladies, by the way.
Appreciate you.
This good-looking dude, smart, kind man is single. So get at him. Slide in his DMs. Maybe his Instagram. What motivates you to keep pursuing your dreams?
You know, one of my mentors asked me this like several years ago, and my answer was like to not have to worry about tomorrow. You know, like being able to build that base that I'm able to like grow into and follow whatever dream I have, whether it's like opening up that cafe, whether it's like actually like continuing the business of like becoming like a mogul, you know?
Right.
But like just making sure that like that end goal
To live freely.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great goal. Same.
Darshan should share what type of women.
Not here.
Do you want to share what is your type of women? What's your type?
Family oriented.
Thank you.
Family oriented.
Yeah,
So
family
family is
oriented.
a big goal for you, right?
It is.
You're a big
It
family
is.
oriented dude. Okay.
Yeah, family oriented, kind, you know.
Do you have a specific, like, would you want an Indian woman or do you not care?
Doesn't matter. No.
Holler at this man, ladies. Trust me. Holler. What advice would you give high school you?
The hustle works, and like the hustle will take you there.
What about actually, you know, I have a better question for you. What would you give elementary school? What advice would you give
Oh
elementary
my
school?
gosh. Oh, okay.
Because I feel like high
Yeah.
school you kind of found your path.
Yeah, I definitely found my groove in high school. Man, elementary. Oof.
Because that seemed like the Darshan that was kind of struggling.
Yeah. I was shy. I was super timid. I wouldn't talk to anyone.
That's crazy because that's not the you.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Like it.
I've only seen you shy once, and that was when we were staging photos before the camping trip.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was so
I was
awkward.
like, why is Darshan so awkward right now? We'll give him a break.
Wow. I think the main advice would be like, things get better. You just have to keep working at it.
That is great advice. I mean, better times are
ahead.
Are coming. Yeah. What's your favorite part of Outsiders?
Okay, so that the piece of not being whoever you are and just wanting to get out. That's what I love about it, because I'm all about community. I'm all about like growing communities and like fostering that relationships. And Outsiders is the place where anyone can come through. Whether you're old, you're young, you're fit, you're not, like you will find a place here. And that is my number one. That is why we're working together, right? Yeah, legit. Like I've come to realize over the years that like I will not work for people that I'm not happy with. So, in turn,
Agree. And we were talking about it at the camping weekend when someone was asking us like how you came about working with the Outsiders, and you were like, "No, we have a good flow. You and I working together. It seems very easy. Sure, we have to tackle certain tasks, and sometimes there's issues we have to face, but it's never been a question of are we working well together? It's been more of a question of like, why aren't these checks being cut fast enough?
yeah, exactly.
And that was a nightmare. We're not going to get into that, but we made it work, right? We
Right,
did it.
exactly.
And that felt so good because we went to battle together,
Yeah.
and we came out of that like stressful situation. And man, I got to tell you, when you called me to check up on me to see if like, man, how are you feeling? You sounded stressed. I went ahead and did this or whatever it is. Like that made it so much easier for me. Give me peace of mind. Okay, I'm not doing this all alone. I have somebody supporting me doing this. And even asking me like, yo, are you okay? Coming from like being a CEO, sometimes there's this thing called like CEO loneliness or something like that. I forgot. It's in Sabrina Horn's book, Make It Don't Fake It. And it talks about it gets they say lonely at the top, and it's that way because I'm expected to have all the answers. When you're expected to have all the answers at the top, and you don't always have the answers. But you can't. Sometimes you can't speak to the people that work for you and get answers either. But when somebody like you asks, "Are you okay? How can I help?" or whatever, checks in on me, that helps a lot. And I don't know, I can't tell you exactly why, but like there's not a whole lot, a huge team. And actually on the admin front, there's only you and me. Jillian does help on some admin stuff as well, but like the majority of this stuff is you and me. So having your support is very helpful. Thank you.
It's been awesome, man.
And it will continue to be
Yes,
awesome.
it will. Taking it to the moon.
Exactly. I have this question. I don't ask everybody. I can't ask everybody, but what is your experience? What has your experience been like as a person of color in the outdoor realm? And how did it feel prior to the Outsiders, and how does it feel now? Because you seem to be like an outdoors active dude, and I know the outdoors traditionally has been, and you've seen through advertising, you know, prior to the whole diversity movement of the summer of 2020, all these advertisements were like white folks looking very granola-ish on a mountain wearing outdoor gear. And for us, you've been doing this for 5 years, and that's never been, our goal has always been diversity. I mean, everything I've ever done as far as events has been diversity. So I could see how, and I read a great article about how the outdoors needs to be more inclusive. But you walk out to a state park and you see a lot of white faces and white authority figures, rangers, and so on. So how tell me about your experiences.
Yeah, that's been like, that's what I grew up with, right? Like that's who I would see on like the trail runs and who I would see like on the track and doing all that. And it's, I feel like the entire like world, the country, like they're taking this shift into like making it more inclusive in general. And I feel like Outsiders is doing has been on the forefront of that, of driving that focus. Because like still, if you go into like middle America area, like that's all you'll see. Right. And like, I'm talking to one of my clients in regards to like, he wants to purchase some property and he's like, yeah, man, like it would be awesome to purchase it in this one city, but there's no diversity anywhere.
Right.
Like, how is that going to help? And he's not of diversity anyways. Like, right. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
But
he wants, he's white, you're saying?
He's white. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. But he doesn't, but he wants to raise his kids in a place that is diverse and all that.
Well,
so,
you know, the outdoors are more accessible when you don't live in an urban environment, but the urban environment is where diversity lives.
Exactly.
However, you know, it's not that far away, urban environments, but there needs to be motivation for people of diversity to feel more comfortable in the outdoors, in the outdoor environment. So for us, it's like, that's a huge mission for us. I mean, diversity beyond just race as well. We've spoken about this, you know, gender, sexual orientation, age, socioeconomic status. So, appreciate your insight on that. And that's a continued mission for both of us. Let's continue doing that.
Seriously.
What is a dream that you've yet to achieve? Did I just ask you that? Well, I guess
Something similar.
Yeah, I did. So you answered that.
Like the cafe, the hostel.
That's kind of like a business
family,
goal, and then a family. Okay,
family,
so we'll skip that. What is your most embarrassing moment?
Oh man.
I know you got some, brother.
Oh.
I know you do.
Oh my gosh. As of recent, like, oh my gosh. Let me preface that.
Wait, does anyone in the audience know any embarrassing moments for Darshan? Because he seems to be not remembering any. Anyone have?
I don't know.
No? Doesn't sound like it. You know some. Go ahead.
Well, it wasn't really an embarrassing moment. At the time, I was very embarrassed. So I land in New York. I have a meeting. Like it was my first time in New York, actually moving here. I have a meeting with my future boss, and I'm sitting at Shake Shack in Madison Square Park, and a bird poops on me twice.
You can say, well, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A bird shits on me twice.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I can turn blue.
Where did it? Where
Oh, it was right here on my arm.
You know that they say that's good luck.
Yeah.
They say it brings money, but at the end of the day, if you have an interview and you got
Right? Exactly.
Good luck.
So, and I think I turned purple. You know, it was one of those.
Was it on your jacket or on your shirt?
So it was September, so I wasn't wearing a jacket. I was just wearing a t-shirt, or like a button up.
Yeah. Did you have a blazer to wear over it? No.
No.
Well, actually, what would be great is what did you do when you walked in? Did you say anything about it?
Well, we were sitting outside, right? And
It was during the interview.
During it, yeah. We were eating our burgers, and I got pooped on right there.
Well, I mean, if it's during, was that?
At least they were there.
At least, exactly.
Yeah.
At least they were there. It wasn't like you showed up with stains on your shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
At least they witnessed what happened. Okay, well that's a decent story. Is there anything?
Oh, but okay. Actually,
now you got it good.
No,
Okay,
so,
go
no,
ahead.
it's
Now
not,
you got a good one.
this is not embarrassing at all. This is not embarrassing at all.
Okay.
Like, actually, when I moved to New York, on my flight, I took a Virgin America flight. I was sitting in like the class like right after first class.
Yeah.
I was on the first row, and my parents were crying. My sister was crying. Everyone.
In the
everyone was-
plane?
Huh?
In the plane?
No. Like before
Okay,
at
yeah.
LAX, like we were hugging it out, and this tall gentleman comes next to me, and I'm about to walk into TSA pre-check, and he walks next to me, and I let him in, and I look up, and I'm like, oh, okay. I recognize him. I don't really make the connection. Then I turn back around. I give my parents a hug, another hug, and like it was great. It was a great moment. Yeah. I get into the flight. I was like one of the last people to get into the flight, and then I come to realize I'm like, oh my goodness, I saw him on a TV show, and it's Idris Elba.
Idris Elba?
Idris Elba's on my flight. And he ended up sitting in the last row of first class, and I ended up sitting in the first row of whatever economy that was. The homie ended up buying me drinks the entire flight.
Why?
Yeah, because he felt so bad for me.
Were you talking to him?
No, but we just made this eye contact.
Like,
we were like,
he's ordering his drink. Is like, and by the way, pathetic kid behind you.
yeah, the kid that's crying in the back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give him some whiskey. He's really pathetic.
Oh my gosh, it made for such.
Did
a
you
great...
speak to him?
No, I just was like, thank you at the very end when I was pulling out my bag and he was about to leave.
You didn't say anything to like. How did you know the drinks were coming from him?
Because the flight attendant told me.
And you just drank without. I would have gotten up like, hey, thank you for cheers for the drink. Can I get you your next round?
But I told him that like where we were leaving, and I was like, thank you so much.
But you should have done it before you left.
But like, what if
when
he's
you got
like,
the drink?
I don't like what?
He bought you a drink.
I know. Okay, maybe I should have. All right, cool. Next time.
Idris, Darshan owes you drinks. All right, Idris, Darshan. There you go.
Man, but such a homie.
Yeah.
I was like, such a good time.
All right, so that's a story of something about. Did I ask you what have I not asked about you? What? Any questions you want? Anything you want to tell the audience about yourself that I haven't asked you yet? I mean, the story was. I don't know if I could tell. That story was great. I think we could just leave it at that, unless you want to chime in with something.
Anything else?
Rapid fire.
Okay, yeah, rapid fire. I don't think it's something else.
It's time for our last segment of 5 rapid fire questions. Are you? You obviously know how rapid fire works. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. If you had to choose between cycling and running, what would you choose?
Ooh, cycling.
Cycling. Really?
Now, at the current moment, yes, cycling. Cycling. Yeah.
I think you got a runner in the crowd.
But you know, like I've kind of lost my passion for it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh damn! Really lost your passion for running? Was it because of your injury or just in general?
No, it's in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your vice?
Oof. So I have a couple. I love sweets.
Okay. Same.
But I also love alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
That's not a great thing, but cheers anyway.
No, but like it's I love, and sometimes you push the limits. You figure it out. And but yeah, those are two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are your vices. Any preferred alcohol?
I love whiskey and now mezcal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any specific brands?
I love Angel's Envy, rye. Oof.
Never had it, but
Oh my
we're gonna
gosh.
have to get some
Okay.
together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's go.
No hard booze. Well, maybe, but like, yeah, it's tricky.
Camping trip.
Camping trip, yes.
Camping trip. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Hold on, Mike. Okay, so favorite city other than New York City?
Mexico City.
I've never been there, and that's on my list.
Love it. Love it.
We gotta go.
Let's go.
All right, cool.
Bro.
This next question is an interesting question. You gotta answer as fast as you can, but it's gonna be tough. So, if your life was made into a movie, what actor would play you?
I hope it's Idris Elba.
Not after you didn't think him right away, buddy.
No, who was the guy that who he played Dre in
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. He
I don't know
also
his
was
name.
in
I know who you're talking about.
he was also in the current movie with Up in the Heights.
Yes. I don't know his name, but
I would love for him to play it
Someone
because a
Google?
skinny guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'll ask you your next question, or your last question. What's your favorite food?
I love pizza, but I also love Indian food.
I love Indian food too. I love pizza too.
Okay.
You brought some Indian food for us?
Yeah.
What kind of Indian food? Because I know there's different kinds.
I
What'd you
brought
get?
samosas just to keep
Samosas?
it. Just to keep it simple. Yeah.
I had Indian food for lunch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Bring it over here. I actually love Indian food. This is gonna be great on my stomach, by the way. I had ice cream, beer, now Indian food. Oh my God. All right. Thank you, sir. Where's your here? We'll tear this up so we can. Actually, you know what? Let's do it. Sit down and I'll get this set up for us. What kind of samosas are these? And can you explain to the audience what a samosa is if they don't know?
So a samosa is it? Thank you. Samosa is an Indian dumpling.
Gotcha. Where's yours? Here, take some. Take one. And can you pass me on that? Oh, I love those. What sauce should I take? Because I know there's. Can you explain the sauces? Why is this your favorite food?
Yeah. So this is
Let me
this is a
unwrap it.
spicy chutney sauce with
The green one is a spicy chutney. Let me show this to the audience when I can unravel it. All right. So this is spicy chutney, right?
That is spicy chutney. Yeah.
And what is?
It's like made of cilantro, sometimes mint,
What's this one?
and that's a sweet chutney, which usually made of tamarind.
What should? And what's the other one over there?
I don't know what this is.
You don't- it's like Thousand Islands.
Oh, it's sweet. Okay, no, this is not for the samosas. This is ketchup.
All right. So which one should I try this with?
You can try it with both.
What's your favorite?
I actually eat them plain.
Plain. I'll try plain first.
Always try it.
These are good. Where'd you get these?
Kai?
His kitchen.
Yeah, it's like
India chef.
Chef India or something. Yeah.
Chef India.
This is great. I got a number for that spot. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. This is your favorite food? Your
Yeah.
favorite Indian food?
100%.
This is great. Well, Darshan, I've already expressed a million times how much I appreciate you, but thank you for being part of this interview, part of Inside with Outsiders. Guys, when you see Darshan at our adventures, if you attend, feel free to go up to him, talk to him. He's very friendly, as you can see. And we'll have to get you back on the show again, maybe after one of our international trips. We can talk more about that.
Yeah, for real.
But for now, this is really good, and I'm starving, so I gotta go. See ya.
Thank you.